All right, guys, welcome to the call again. Big shout out to Rico, brand new Platinum 5000. He's alive, man. He is alive. Did you guys just hear the humility, the meekness, man, the servitude, the attitude? That's what this business is about, man. It's never about us. It's about the people that we're helping along the journey, the people that we're working with to help us have success. And it's very important that you realize that, man, because there have been people that have helped you get to where you are, and you're going to be the person that helps people get to where they want to be. The mentorship cycle, the leadership cycle is constantly evolving. It's constantly revolving. I mean, there's somebody that you're going to have to listen to, right? There's somebody that's going to be on your level that you're going to be talking to. And then there's going to be people that you're actually leading, that you're pouring into. So you got to get poured into somebody. You got to share ideas with people that are on your level. And then you got to have people that you're actually pouring into. That's the leadership cycle, the mentorship cycle. That's how this thing constantly revolves. And that's what your organization wants to look like. Listening to the right voices, pouring into the right people so that the leadership development can constantly be flowing throughout the organization. And we had a call maybe about a month ago, and it was, I believe on YouTube, it's titled The Value of Leadership or something like that. And this call is going to be kind of like a spinoff to that in a sense, because in order for somebody to really, really lead, they got to understand the value of leadership. And simply put, the value of leadership is the highest paid position in the world. That's how you slice this thing down to simple terms. That's how you put the value on leadership. It's the highest paid position in the world. When you look at people that are multi-billionaires and trillionaires and things of that sort, what you got to pay attention to is the type of position that they're in from a leadership standpoint. Mark Zuckerberg, leader of a billion-dollar company. The guy from Twitter, Jack Dorsey, leader of a billion-dollar company. Elon Musk, Tesla, leader of a billion-dollar company. We can go on and on, like Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, like God rest his soul. Like you can go on and on. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, like leadership, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Man, just drop some more leaders in the chat box who are earning a lot of money because they understand the position that they're in. I spoke about this on the last call. Without leadership ability, somebody's success is only a fraction of what it could actually be. Without true leadership ability, somebody's success is only a fraction of what it could be. Steph Curry, Oprah, right? Thank you for your comments, right? Steph Curry, Oprah, things of that sort, guys. So, again, without somebody understanding the value, without somebody understanding what it really looks like, the success that you see that person have is literally only a fraction of what it could actually be. So if that person's success is only a fraction without leadership ability, what do you think their organization is like? That means when you see somebody who's doing well, they're a Platinum 5000, they're a Chairman 10. Guess what? Their organization is only producing at a fraction of what it could actually produce if the person that was in that leadership role, the group of people that were in that leadership role actually took the time to focus and learn how to lead. Because what happens to people, guys, we get put in positions of leadership, but we've never actually learned how to lead. And how well you lead determines how well you will succeed. How well you lead determines how well you will succeed. See, your ability to lead is ultimately going to determine your level of success. So if you're not focused on getting better as a leader, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because here's the deal, guys. Platinum 2000, Platinum 5000, Chairman 10, Chairman 25, all these positions are going to require that you actually get better. See, going Platinum 1000 is great, but here's the deal. Somebody can go Platinum 1000 without giving a crap about leadership. They can just go and roll some people off Instagram, and they got 30 people involved in their business, but to go from 30 customers to 75 customers, then to go from 75 customers to 225 customers, that takes somebody who really understands and really is putting the time in. Everybody's journey is different. And that's why I love the call last week. I actually went back and listened to that call last week. And I'm just listening like, man, this makes so much sense because there's a pace that everybody has to follow. And you can't look at somebody else and say, man, I've been in the business longer than him. I've been in the business longer than Rico. How did he beat me to Platinum 5,000? He never beat you because you guys were never in a race. Everybody has their own pace. Everybody has their own marathon that has been laid out for them. So why would I focus and say, man, I've been in the business for 2 years. I'm not P5 yet. How did he hit P5? What makes him so much different from me? It's not that. Everybody has a different pace for their success because everybody has a different group of people that we're going to impact. And somebody in your niche of impact is going to be inspired by your story of you being stuck at a rank for a year. There's somebody that's going to be in your sphere of influence who's going to be inspired by your story of how you made it from Platinum 1,000 to Platinum 5,000. And it took you 2 months to actually make it happen, but you were stuck at Platinum 1,000 for a whole year before you start making leaps and strides in the business. You got to understand that the things that we go through, they're not just for us. So when you're stationed at a place, it's not for you. It's for the people that you're going to meet along the journey. So somebody may go a little bit faster than you. Somebody may hit the rank before you, but just because they hit the rank before you doesn't mean that it's not for you. Like just because Rico hit the rank before you doesn't mean that it's not for you. Just because Gio hit Chairman 10 before you doesn't mean that it's not for you. Just because I hit Chairman 50 before you doesn't mean that it's not for you. Just because Bryce Thompson hit Chairman 500 before everybody doesn't mean that it's not for a lot of people. That is not for everybody. Everybody just has their own race in which they run. And as we're running this race, one thing that we have to focus on, especially when you become aware, is leadership. Everybody's not aware. Everybody doesn't get aware. If you were listening to Rico, one thing that he mentioned was awareness. Very important that you become aware because it's okay to build the business and not focus on leadership. It's okay. It's fine. You don't got to. It's okay if you don't do that. It's okay to not have a voice to listen to. It's perfectly fine. It's okay. But what happens is when you don't focus on leadership, when you don't listen to the right voices, your success is a fraction of what it could actually be. But when you focus on leadership, you take that time to say, man, how do I get better as a leader? What resources and audios and books and YouTube videos that I need to watch to get better? Because again, how well you lead determines how far or the level in which you succeed. And your organization only grows to the size of your leadership ability. Your family will only do well as the size of the rate in which you lead them. It's the only way. But here's what you got to understand about leadership. A leader is developed daily, not in a day. It doesn't happen overnight. So you don't get on the call like this and wake up tomorrow and say, man, I'm a leader. At the end, next month, oh, I'm just this stone cold lead. No, it's daily. It's daily activity over the course of time, compounding, goal-producing activity. So you set the goal to say, you know what, I want to become that leader for my organization. And then you begin to create goals, right? And produce around this goal of becoming a leader. You begin to create activity, right? That's what I meant, create activity around this goal of actually becoming a leader. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to write down real quick on your notes, on your phone. I want you to write down 3 to 5 qualities that you want to see in a leader. 3 to 5. The 3 to 5 things you want to see in that top person that comes into your business. All right, 3 to 5 qualities. Give you a second. All right, cool. Now somebody drop some in the chat box. Drop some of your points in the chat box. I see Jada says hunger, fearless, transparency, confidence, desire, passion, focus, character, resilience, accountability, expertise, humility, discipline, open-minded, compassion, a great one, intentionality, yep, communication, honor, great communication, consistency, empathy, persistency. All of those are great. Coachability, loyal, aggressive. All of those are great. Without question. Very important. Initiative, integrity. Integrity is so important. That's one of the indispensable qualities of a leader, integrity. Now ask yourself this question. Do I possess every quality that I wrote down? If I wrote down discipline, am I disciplined? If I wrote down consistency, am I consistent? If I wrote down honesty, am I honest? If I wrote down trustworthy or servant, if I wrote down integrity, do I possess integrity? If I wrote down character, do I have great character? Because here's the deal. We don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. We don't attract who or what we want, we attract who we are. And there's something called the leadership lid. I spoke about this on the last call about leadership. The leadership lid says that your organization will only go as high as the leader goes. So if your leadership capacity is a 5, or your leadership level is a 5, that means your organization is going to be a 4. If your leadership capacity or level is a 7, that means your organization can be a 6. If your leadership capacity or level is an 8 or a 9, that means your organization will operate at a 7 or 8. All right. The people that I attract, if I'm a 5, I can only attract 3, 4s, and 5s. I can't attract the 6. I can't attract the 7. And it's gonna just be the grace of God that an 8 comes into my business. It doesn't work like that. Because do you think David Imonitie wants to be led by a 5? Do you think Alex Morton wants to be led by a 6? Not at all. You think Justin Owens wants to be led by a 4 or a 5? No. So you're going to attract at the level you are or below. It's going to be very hard for you to track up. So the question is now, how do I increase my lid for leadership? How do I go from 5 and 6 to 7 and 8? How do I go from 7 to 8? How do I go from the bottom? I'm a 1. I don't lead anybody. I've never been in a position of leadership. I've never studied leadership. I've never participated in sports. I've never been in any type of role of management. I've never been a leader, but I want to build the business. What are my steps, practical steps, for increasing the lid of my leadership so I can go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 over the course of time? Because again, it doesn't happen in a day. It happens daily. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens night after night after night after night. So how do I do that? Well, number one is I have to lead myself. I have to lead myself first. Before I can lead anybody else, I, number one, have to lead myself. Because here's the thing about leadership. Leadership is a visual responsibility and a visual act. It's a visual responsibility and a visual act. Do you know that 85% of everything that we learn visually? 85% of everything that we learn visually. So what's my point? See, if I want to lead an organization of people, I have to give them something that they can actually see of what leadership looks like. So I give them a reason to follow me. And people hear what we say, but they trust what we do. I heard JVL, the great philosopher, one time say, let your feet move as fast as your mouth. Because a lot of people talk, not understanding that 85% of everything that we learn visually. We learn by doing it. We learn by being with other people while they do it. That's what this thing really boils down to. So the first thing you got to do is you have to lead yourself. excuse me, babe. Baby Keegan, right? So you got to lead yourself. You have to do the things that you want other people to do. I love this little thing that I have in my head, or this quote that I said one time about having a camera crew following you around. If a camera crew followed you around every day and watched the things that you did, they watch the things that you study, they see your search history on YouTube, they see your search history on Instagram, and they show that to your organization, would your organization be impressed by what you do? Would they be inspired by what you do? Or they're gonna laugh at you and say, bro, you're my leader. Sis, you're supposed to be the one that's leading me. You're not even doing what you're telling me to do. You have to lead yourself first. Before you can ask somebody else to do something, you have to show them that you've already done it. Do your action. I love the Michael Jordan documentary last night. Man, if you ain't got, I said this last week, if you guys haven't been watching the documentary, listen, get the YouTube app, the YouTube TV, if you don't got cable, and start watching the documentary. And don't watch it as a fan, watch it as a student. I've been watching the documentary as a student. I literally take notes in my phone from every single documentary. I can go to my notes and look at notes from day one of the documentary, because I've been following as a student, because I'm modeling greatness. I'm studying the greatest player to ever play the game. I'm able to take things that he applied to his game and apply to my particular business, right? The things that I do, the way that I lead. And last night on the documentary, towards the very end of episode 7, I almost shed tears. My wife can attest to it. I almost shed tears listening to Michael Jordan talk about the passion at which he played the game. Literally. Because you had a reporter, and the question that they were asking him was, are you a nice guy? And they went and they interviewed players that he played with, and they was asking, is Mike a nice guy? Is Mike a nice guy? And then they got to B.J. Armstrong, player that he played with. And the reporter asked B.J. Armstrong, was Michael Jordan a nice guy? Right? And so B.J. Armstrong goes on to say, well, to play with that level of intensity, to be that type of player, to play in the way in which he played, there's no way humanly possible that he can be nice. And so the camera comes back to Michael Jordan, and he's watching the interview from B.J. Armstrong on an iPad, and he just starts busting out laughing, baffled, like, bro, you may be right. Maybe I'm not a nice guy. But this is what he said. He said, but my team, the people that I play with, they will vouch that I have never asked them to do anything that I have not effing done. He said that. He said, my team can vouch that I have never asked them to do anything that I have not done. Why? Because the first rule of leadership, of leading people, number one, you have to lead yourself, because it's a visual act and a visual responsibility. Michael Jordan knew that if he asked his team to do it, that they would do it, maybe not with the greatest attitude because of what he was asking for sometimes. But listen, they knew that they had to respect what he was doing because they watched him do it every day. They watched him put in work every single day. Here's the deal, man. People do what people see. People do what people see. It's not what you say that makes you effective. It's what people see you do that makes you effective. All right. So the first rule of increasing my lid of leadership is leading myself. I have to lead my life. I can't just accept my life. I have to lead my life. And most people, they don't lead their life. They just accept it. They accept what comes. They accept the debt. They accept the back office going backwards. They accept people leaving the organization. They accept that they don't get up and show the plan. They accept everything that comes to them. But I heard Ivan Tapia once say, don't accept your excuses. Challenge your excuses. When's the last time that you've challenged your excuse? When's the last time an excuse popped up in your mind and you challenged it? When's the last time laziness popped up in your spirit and you challenged the laziness? When's the last time doubt popped up in your mind and you challenged the doubt? When's the last time fear popped up in your mind and you challenged the fear and you say, you know what, fear, you can't live here. because there's people that I have to lead. And if I'm a fearful leader, I'm going to produce fearful followers, not fearful leaders, fearful followers. And if I have a team full of fearful followers and not fearless leaders, I'm no longer a leader, I'm a manager. Because everybody is waiting to see what I'm going to do. Everybody's waiting for my instructions. Everybody's waiting to see what does Gio McCoy, our chairman 10, do? What does what does Riyad Jones do? If I'm fearful, but if I'm a fearless leader, I'm putting the work in every single day. I'm challenging my excuses. My team sees me doing that. My team sees me in the trenches. They don't hear me talk about being in the trenches. Like, people that are around me, I don't have to talk about what I do. I don't have to talk about how many times I show the plan because I make it visual where they can see it. I make it visual. They see the results of other people that I work with. So I don't have to talk about it. I just set the example. Now, obviously, I get on the call like this and we teach about it, but day-to-day activity, I don't have to say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I just let the results speak. Secure it in silence and watch your moves, watch your rank announce themselves. But so many people get caught up in talking about what they're going to do, talking about how good of a leader they're going to be, talking about how many people they're going to help, talking about, how many people you're going to have at event, talking about how you're doing this and doing that. But are your feet moving? Are you actually working? Are you actually crafting? People do what people see, not what we hear you say. So focus on the activity of leading yourself every single day. Number 2, add value to people. Every single day, you add value to people. Every day, add value to people. And just a disclaimer, this call is probably going to go over about 10 or 15 minutes, right? I had to give Rico some shine, right? But I got it. Make sure you get this information, so don't go nowhere. Number 2, every day add value to people. Because people that know how to consistently add value to people is going to increase their influence with people. And guess what leadership is? Leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. So how do I add value to people? Number 1, you must genuinely value people. Genuinely. You have to genuinely value people. Meaning you genuinely love people. You genuinely care for people. You genuinely celebrate people. You genuinely show love to people. You genuinely step out of your comfort zone or go out your way to add value to somebody else, to show value to somebody else. Because if you don't value people, you know what you will do? You will take advantage of people. If you don't value people, value their hearts, value their minds, value the gift that they have, the gift that they possess, or the developing gift that they have on the inside of them, you will take advantage of people. And you'll start leading them for a check, but you're not leading them to be a part of their story. Very big difference. See, listen, I've been around the block a few times, okay? I've been around the block a few times. It's been 4 years for me in network marketing. I've been a part of great leadership and I've been under terrible leadership. And being under terrible leadership or bad leadership helped me see the importance of great leadership. Being around bad football coaches growing up made me understand the value of great football coaches. And when I've been around leaders or coaches that did not value people, they took advantage of them. So how does that translate in this business? Well, if I don't really value people in their hearts, I'll only call them when their auto ship is due. I'll only call them, listen to me, when I'm trying to see if they're showing the plan. I'll only call them to see you know, what their activities like, but I don't really call them just to listen to what's happening in their life. I don't really call them to see how can I add value to this person, bit of it, but is independent of this particular business. How can I figure out what's going on in somebody else's life? I'm not calling you every time just to see why you missed a call. I'm not calling you to see why is your membership not active. I don't care. It's not my business. You may be having money problems. So why would I call you and ask you that? That's not my concern. I've never called anybody on this line ever in my life since I've been in this business and said, bro, why is your membership not active? I don't care. Why don't I care? Because if it was important enough to that person, their membership will be active. But from a leadership standpoint, what do? I go find somebody who wants to be active. But I'm not going to tarnish my relationship with this person to only call them about their membership, to only call them to see why they're not showing the plan, to only call them to see why they missed a call, to only call them to see why they're not showing up to the events. That's not my concern. The reason why I stay at peace every day is because I only work with the willing. I only work with the willing. I only work with the people who have genuine hearts. Listen, I only do that. It's not my job to chase somebody who doesn't want to be chased. It's not my job to call and see why you're not active. It's not my job to kick you out of a group chat because you're not active. That's not my job. My job is to every day find ways to add value to people, even if you're not active, even if you're not on the call, even if you miss the events, even if you drop out of the business. If we have a relationship, I'm still gonna find ways to add value to you. So how do I add value? I listen, I learn, then I lead. That's one way. I listen, I learn, and then I lead. Instead of calling people and saying, yo, why is your membership not active? Or, you know, why are you not doing this? Have conversation, listen to them, and maybe they'll tell you without you having to ask. You can learn something, you gather information, and then, and only then, you can now lead the person. But if my way of leading you is by calling you to see why you haven't done this, I'm no longer necessarily leading you. That's not my concern. What I'm doing is trying to see why you're not active so that I can help my volume go to the next level. Forgive me if I'm stepping on toes tonight. Forgive me. But I'm teaching leadership, not management, leadership. Because the way that you're going to have a successful organization, not for a month, not for 2 months, not for 3 months, but for longevity, is by you, number one, leading yourself, adding value to people, right? And then another way to add value to people is by making yourself more valuable. You make yourself more valuable. How do you make yourself more valuable? You develop the skills and you focus on growth. You develop the necessary skills and you're focused on growth. If I want to make myself more valuable, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to develop the skill sets that are required for the industry that I'm in. If I'm trading, I'm going to develop the skill sets of a trader. If I'm building a business, I'm going to get the Chairman Blueprint playlist and I'm going to study it. I'm going to get on YouTube and study information about building a network marketing business so I can develop the skill sets. And then I'm going to focus on growth. What areas am I going to grow in? I'm going to grow in the area of faith and belief, and I'm also going to grow in the area of leadership and the area of money management. I'm going to grow in those areas because now I've increased my influence. Now I've become more valuable to people. So it's easier for me to add value to people because people now see me as valuable. That's number two. Number three, you study leadership. This is how you increase your lid. You study leadership. Every day, study leadership. Let me show you something really quick. Every day. Every day you study leadership. 21 indispensable qualities of a leader. Because you may be thinking, what makes you qualified to talk all this stuff about leadership? Not only do I have the result, number one, but number two, I literally put the time in every day. Some form of leadership is getting studied every day. And I have 3 more by John Maxwell. They're just not in the living room. They're in the closet. All right. So here's the deal. Every single day, I'm making time to study leadership. Every day. There's 24 hours in a day. Find 1 hour, find 30 minutes of a day to begin to study how to become a better leader. You have to. Because how well you lead is going to determine how well you succeed, how far you go in life, right? And then number 4, you got to apply the principles. You got to apply the principles. So the things that you study, the things that you learn, guess what you do? You go apply it. Every single day. You're looking for ways to apply what you learn. You're looking for ways to apply the laws of leadership. You're looking for ways to add value to people. You apply it every single day. You're looking for ways to apply these principles because no knowledge is yours until you practice it. No knowledge is yours until you practice it. It can't be your knowledge until you apply it. You can't say you know that until you've done it. People say that all the time. I already know that. You talking about the 5 levels of leadership. I know that. You talking about this. I already know that. Well, why haven't you done it? Why haven't we saw the fruits of it in your life yet? You know a tree by the fruit that it bears. Not judge a tree. You know a tree. So I don't have to judge you. I can know you by what you're producing. Not judge you, because that's not what the text says. It says you know a tree by the fruit that it bears, not judge. So based on what you're producing, based on your activity, right? Based on the results, based on your calendar book, we know you. We know you. We don't have to judge you. We know you. So if you're really applying the principles, at some point, they're going to begin to show up in your life. They may not show up in month 1. They may not show up in month 2. They may not show up in month 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. But if you keep applying the principles daily, at some point, you're going to look up and there's going to be people joining your business, and you have not only the capacity, but the depth to lead those people. Some people have a wide capacity to lead, but they're very shallow. They have no depth because they haven't studied leadership. They haven't studied how to be a better leader. They haven't looked around and modeled great leaders. They just out here willy-nilly in the position of leadership. But when you haven't studied great leadership, when you haven't modeled great leadership, when you're not looking at great leadership, when you're not consciously focused, thinking on how can I become a better leader, you're only producing a fraction of what you could actually be producing. And that should drive your gears. That should grind your gears. The fact that what you have right now is just a fraction of what it really could be if you focus on every single day adding value to people, making yourself more valuable, applying the principles, leading yourself, and then most importantly, guys, intentionally growing. That's number 5. That's the 5th rule. Intentionally growing. Intentionally growing. And what that really means, guys, is being in an environment of growth, being around people that are growing. You got to get around people that are better than you. You got to get around people that have more than you. You got to listen to people. And guess what? Even if that person isn't in your circle of influence, meaning you can't physically call them or get on a webinar with them, guess what you got? You got YouTube. John Maxwell, man, is one of my closest mentors. Never met him before. I will one day, right? He's gonna be right. John Maxwell is going to personally mentor me one day, right? But here's the deal. Before he actually physically shows up in my life, I already know who he is. I've already studied. I've already been focused on learning the principles, learning the things that he teaches. Because I understand that the higher you go, is going to be more that's demanded of you from your position of leadership. Wait, you know what happens? Think of an airplane, and we'll be done. Think of an airplane. Do you know that when the airplane takes off the ground, when it leaves the runway, the airplane cannot go back down? It can't. It cannot go back down because obviously it's traffic, it's trees and everything around it. So when the actual plane takes off the ground, the plane has to have everything that it actually needs. The plane has to have everything that it needs to complete the journey. So if you're on the runway right now, it's okay. Just say that to yourself. It's okay if your vision hasn't taken off yet. It's okay if you haven't really gotten to that level that you want to get to yet. It's okay. Because when you take off, when you're off the ground, you better have everything in you that's needed because you cannot go back down. When you get off the ground, you better have the traits. You better have the character. You better have the things that you want. Because when you get up there in the air and everybody can see you, your move is being watched by everybody. Are you going to be able to handle that? Are you going to be able to handle people that need assistance? Do you have the character? Do you have the compassionate spirit to not belittle people, but attract? See, a leader has a magnet in his heart, but a compass in his hand. He attracts people, she attracts people to him or her based on the type of heart that they have. But when they come to you, when they're attracted to you, you can now plot the compass and say, all right, cool. Come here, let me show you. This is how I did it. I showed the plan 4 to 6 times a week. Every day I study leadership. You see that? Every day I study leadership. Guess what? I went to every single event. Yep, you know what else I did? I helped other people begin to do that. You know, listen, I did a mindset mastery every Monday since September of 2017. We only missed about 3, right? Since 2017. You want to know too? Listen, this is what we did. Magnet in the heart, compass in the hand. That's what it's about. Compassion, integrity. People have to trust you. If people can see through you, they'll love you forever. But if people don't feel like they can see through you, if people don't feel like they can't trace you, they can't trust you in positions of leadership. So listen, again, if your vision hasn't taken off yet, if you haven't had that momentum in your business yet, it's okay. That's just giving you more time to put all the fuel inside the airplane, put all the food that the airplane needs, make sure the Wi-Fi is connected, make sure the pilots are there, right? Make sure there's enough space, make sure everything that the airplane needs, make sure everything that you need is in you. So and here's what it looks like, guys. You're going on a runway. And this is not a literal plane, but it's you. You're going on a runway. You're learning. You're growing, right? You're reading the audios. You're listening to the books. You're getting to the events. You're studying. You're getting better and better and better. And then the plane finally takes off. Man, I'm telling you, you're going to be ready because He wouldn't pull you up if you weren't ready. He wouldn't let you elevate if you weren't ready. He wouldn't let you elevate if you first haven't evolved. A caterpillar, no matter how hard the caterpillar tries to fly, no matter how hard the caterpillar tries to elevate, until that caterpillar evolves, gets better, goes into a dark place, goes into obscurity where nobody can see it, it develops, it comes out better than when it went in and it begins to fly because it's now changed or evolved into a butterfly. You're the same exact way. You got to focus, you got to grow, you got to develop, you got to get better. Add value to people every single day. Love people, genuinely care for people. Live life intentionally with integrity. Lead your life. Focus on ways to grow every single day. Develop time, set time aside to intentionally grow. Get in a growth environment. Get around other leaders. Get around people that are playing the game of life on a higher level than you. Listen to people that are playing the game on the life, playing the game on the life of on a higher level than you. That's what this thing boils down to, guys. So if you haven't saw the Chairman Blueprint, there's a playlist. It's pinned in the chat. Can somebody drop that pinned message from the chat into the chat box right there so that everybody can have access to it? Because I believe that those 7 videos. Let me tell you what's in there. It's gonna. One of my favorite videos in there. It teaches you how to show the plan. Like I literally made a video step by step on how to effectively show the plan, how to effectively take somebody through the exposure process, how to effectively launch business. 3-way calls, edification, all that stuff is in there. There's the playlist right there. Ebony just dropped it. So copy and paste the link so you can have it. But with that being said, guys, let's have an amazing week. Shout out to Rico, brand new platinum 5K. And it's going to be another great week of rank ups. We had a platinum 2000 drop, Miss Kristen Ward today. And I know it's going to be more rank ups this week. So let's have an amazing week, guys. I love you all. I'll see you at the bank. Good night. God bless.
Thank you.